I just spent 100 grand getting my blood filtered in Mexico. The media jumped on this and called me a vampire, but here are my results. For those that are new here, my name is Simon Beard. I built Culture Kings from a little market store to a $600 million brand. Now I'm helping founders on their journey do the same. So last year I was at this conference in Abu Dhabi and this billionaire guy was talking about flying to Mexico. He'd done all the research, spent his whole team doing the due diligence and was getting all his blood filtered, removing microplastics, viruses, pathogens, and what can be the building blocks that become cancers and tumors. Went through the process, learned about it, understood it. In a nutshell, it's like a blood oil change is the best way to describe it, is that takes out all the bad, leaves all the good. And for me, it was more about how can I get ahead of the curve? How can I do whatever I can to help prevent and push back the onset of disease just for longevity? I flew to LA, drove over the border into Mexico. The hospital is amazing. It is like 100 meters over the border from the USA. It is so close and is incredibly flash hospital. First up, the scariest part of it is you've got to hook it right up to your neck. You get that main blood flow going. They hooked you up to an IV and they actually gave me a bit of anesthetic to relax, but it was definitely nerve-wracking. Nurses and doctors around and it's pretty serious. And it is this thing of, it definitely goes through your head is, why the fuck am I doing this? I'm perfectly healthy. And that fear runs through your head. And then I wake up a couple of hours later and obviously I've got the catheter on. I'm quite dozy, but it's going and my blood is coming out. I can see it coming out through one part and then going through the filter and then coming back in. The hardest part is you've got to sit there dead still for basically 6 hours. You can't even really move your neck at all because then the machine will start beeping and going off. What's happening is your blood is going in and out of your body 8 times through that 6 hour period. And it's all running through this filter, which is just scraping and catching as much of the bad, leaving the good, and it's all coming back through. After the 6 hours, they turn it off, connect it, pump all the blood back into you. They simply just patch up the catheter in your neck and you go back to the hotel, which is literally right next door. They do you in a wheelchair. It's 50 meters away and you go back. And that's the only thing is you've got to go to sleep because you've got to do it again the next day and they leave the catheter in. You just got to be real careful because you don't want to bump that because blood will come out real quick. The hospital hotel part is amazing. Like this is the food that was there. This is what all hospitals should serve you, like the most healthy, amazing food. Finally got to sleep and then the next day came back through, hooked it up in 6 hours. But this time I'm not under any anesthetic or anything. So I've just got to sit there for 6 hours. I didn't sleep or anything. I just literally raw dogged it, stared at the roof. It was like a mental challenge and thought through everything. No phone, no podcasts or anything, just 6 hours with my thoughts, which was very therapeutic in itself. And then once that was finished, pumped all blood back through and then they got to rip it out again, which is just a bit of a thing. You got to hold your stomach and it's like, choo, and because the catheter they pull out, it's huge. Like here's a photo of it. But then once it's taped back up, felt normal as I came out of it, went back the next day to Lumati's office, went through all these different treatments and longevity measures. 16 cc's of stem cells. I don't really have any existing injuries. I'm just doing this for prevention and injury. Did them on my knees and back and everything. And then flew out that night. So how do I feel? I got back, I felt great. I went park run in the morning, still been training and exercising every day. The way that I feel, the best way to describe it would be clear. I never thought I had brain fog. I wasn't doing it because I had something wrong, but I'm like, oh, actually, maybe I did have brain fog because this feels a whole lot better. It's just more clear, more present, more transparent. And one of my biggest ones I've noticed is that I train weights in the morning with my personal trainer and I go for a 10K run in the afternoon, training twice a day. I love it. And even though I do all the recovery, the steam, the sauna, the cryo, I'm still sitting, my strain target on my Whoop is sitting around 19 average a day. When I was on the leaderboard for Australia, there's 22,000 people on it. I'm like in the top 30 of that for strain. So it's a real big pressure on my body. But what I've noticed since is that even doing that weights and training in the morning, my strain is only sitting 11 or 12 for the same amount of work. So it's like my body's not working as hard and it's not as maxed. But as well, my sleep's been great. I haven't noticed any sort of big variations in lift or HRV or anything now. It's sitting a little bit higher than normal, but I wouldn't say it's not like that strain, which was a 40% drop, but definitely how do I feel? I feel amazing. How much of that is placebo and that we don't know, but I'm not doing this for an instant feeling. I was doing this as a preventative measure. And I think this is so important when you're thinking of stuff. If you get an instant high off it, that's a drug. You're going to keep needing to chase the high. My part was I'm just trying to prevent and hedge my risk of getting future disease. Anything that I can do now to just take it out while it's small, that was my method. Now look, yes, it's cost over $100,000. This is not for everyone. This is the very early innovator stage and you're just paying way over for it. But obviously this will come down and be way more widely available as more reach. And that's part why I do the video, because honestly, the more that gets out there, the more people know. I'm not getting any from this. I pay Ricky retail just like everyone else. But I do feel the more that we can push that message of doing stuff to be preventative, to get ahead of the curve. But I'm only a week in. I feel friggin' amazing, microplastics and virus free. Hit me up on Instagram or check in with me later down the track. I'll always keep you updated how I feel and how it's worth it. But it's definitely worth more people understanding that health is wealth. Health is the new flex. And anything that we can do to just hedge downside risk, make us feel that little bit more energy, that little bit more clear, sharper, is 100% worth it.